Captain Hannah wiped the dust from the ancient metal box she had found in the cargo hold of the derelict ship. The Resilience had been drifting through space for 3 days now, and this was the first interesting thing they had discovered in the wreckage. "What do you think it is?" asked Kim Minho, her pilot, as he floated beside her in the zero gravity of the abandoned vessel. His voice echoed strangely in the empty corridors. "I don't know yet," Hannah replied, turning the box over in her hands. Strange symbols were carved into its surface, symbols that looked almost familiar but not quite. "Help me get this back to our ship." An hour later, they were back aboard the Resilience, gathered around the small table in the main cabin. Dr. Park, Ginwoo, their scientist and translator, carefully opened the ancient box. Inside, wrapped in some kind of protective material, was a single piece of metal covered in writing. "It's a star chart," Jinwoo said quietly, his eyes wide with surprise. "But these symbols, I've seen them before. This is old Terran writing." Hannah leaned forward. "Old Terran? You mean from Earth?" "Yes, but that's impossible. Earth died out 300 years ago. Damn, everyone knows that." Minho scratched his head. "My grandmother used to tell stories about Earth. She said it was beautiful, with blue oceans and green forests. But the stories always ended the same way. The planet got sick and died, and all the humans had to leave. That's what we were all taught," agreed Osujin, their young navigator. "The Great Exodus. Humanity fled their dying world and spread across the galaxy. Earth became uninhabitable." But Jinwoo was studying the chart more carefully now, using a small magnifying device to read the tiny symbols. "This chart shows coordinates. Look here, it marks a system as home, and these numbers ... they match the location of Sol system. Sol." Hannah's heart began to beat faster. "But Sol is forbidden space. The Galactic Council declared it off-limits decades ago. They said it was contaminated, dangerous." "Exactly," Jinwoo said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But why would someone make a chart to a dead system? Why would they call it home?" Engineer Cho Daeho looked up from his workstation. "Maybe because it's not really dead." The cabin fell silent. The only sound was the gentle hum of the ship's engines and the soft beeping of instruments. Outside the small windows, stars twinkled in the eternal darkness of space. "That's crazy," Sujin said finally. "The council wouldn't lie about something like that, would they?" Hannah stared at the chart, her mind racing. All her life, she had lived as a wanderer, moving from system to system, never really belonging anywhere. Like all humans, she had no true home planet. They called themselves Terrans, Solarians, or just Spacers, but never Earthers. That word was forbidden, associated with death and failure. "Jinwoo," she said slowly, "in all your research, have you ever found any actual proof that Earth died? Real evidence, not just council records?" The scientist frowned, thinking, "Now that you mention it, ... no. All the information comes from official sources. The council, the hegemony archives, government databases, but no independent verification." "What about the humans who were there?" Minho asked. "The ones who supposedly witnessed the planet's death?" "They don't talk about it," Hannah realized. "Have you ever met an old human who actually talks about Earth? They change the subject, or get angry, or just walk away." "Like they're afraid," Sujin whispered. Ginwoo was already pulling up files on his computer. "I'm going to search for any mention of Earth in the old databases. The really old ones, from before the council, standardized all the records." As he worked, Hannah found herself staring at the star chart again. The symbols seemed to pulse with meaning, as if they were trying to tell her something important. There was something else too. A small drawing in the corner of the chart showed a blue circle with white swirls and green and brown patches. Even without words, she knew what it was supposed to be. "I found something," Ginwoo said suddenly. "Look. At this, it's a communication log from 2387, right before the Great Exodus. A message from Earth to the outer colonies," he read aloud. "This is our last transmission. They're making us leave. They say the planet is dying, but it's not true. The forests are green, the oceans are clean. They just want us gone. If you're Reading this, remember, Earth lives. We live. Don't let them erase us from history. The message ended there, cut off abruptly. They made them leave, Hannah said, her voice hard with anger. Earth didn't die. It was murdered, politically murdered. But why? Sujin asked. Why would they do that? Resources, Deho said grimly. Earth was rich in everything. Metals, water, fertile soil. If you want to take someone's home, first you have to make them leave. Hannah stood up, decision crystallizing in her mind. We're going to Seoul, Hannah. That's suicide, Minho protested. It's forbidden space. The council will hunt us down. Then, we'll be careful, she replied. But I have to know. Well, I'll have to know. If Earth is still alive, if our real home is still out there, ... She looked at each of her crew members. Who's with me? One by one, they nodded. Dr. Park Jin-woo had not slept for 3 days. His eyes were red and tired, but he could not stop reading the files he had found hidden in the old databases. Each document made him more angry and more sad at the same time. You need to see this, he called to Captain Lee Hannah as she entered the research room of the Resilience. The ship was still traveling through space, moving carefully toward the Forbidden Soul system. What did you find? She asked, sitting down. Beside him at the computer, the truth about the Great Exodus. And it's worse than we thought. Ginwoo's fingers shook as he pulled up a secret file. Look at this message. It's from 300 years ago, from the Hegemony High Command. Anna read the words on the screen, her face growing pale. Operation Clean Slate. Phase 1, spread. Rumors about human aggression and primitive behavior. Phase 2. Create evidence of planetary ecological collapse. Phase 3. Force evacuation of all humans from Earth's system. They planned it, Ginwoo said quietly. The whole thing was planned. Earth was never dying. The hegemony wanted our planet, so they made us leave. Kim Minho floated over from his pilot station. What do you mean they wanted our planet, Earth? Was perfect, Jinwoo explained. Rich soil, clean water, perfect climate. But it was full of humans. So they decided to remove us. They told the galaxy that humans were dangerous, that we were too violent to be trusted. Oh. But that's not true. Protested Oh Soo-jin from her navigation post. Humans are traders, explorers, peacekeepers. We're not violent. Of course it's not true. But the hegemony controlled all the information. They made other species afraid of us. Then they said our planet was dying and we had to leave for our own safety. Engineer Cho Dae-ho looked up from his work. So when humans spread across the galaxy, everyone already thought we were dangerous refugees from a dead world. Exactly. We became second-class citizens before we even knew what was happening. Jinwoo pulled up another file. It is a interesting part. Not all humans left Earth. Hannah leaned forward. What do you mean? Some humans refused to go. They said they would rather die than leave their home. The hegemony said they would be killed by the planet's collapse. But look at this. The screen showed a series of numbers and symbols. These are communication codes, secret messages between human families across the galaxy. They've been using these codes for 300 years. Secret messages about what? Minho asked. About Earth? About the people who stayed behind? About the truth? Jinwoo's voice was excited now. The humans who left Earth didn't just scatter randomly across the galaxy. They stayed in contact. They passed down information from generation to generation. Soo-jin was studying the codes on her own screen. These signals, some of them are recent, very recent. That's impossible, Dae-ho said. If Earth is dead, who would be sending signals? Someone who's still alive, Hannah said softly. Someone who never left? Jinwoo nodded. I think the humans who stayed on Earth survived. I think they've been hiding there for 300 years, waiting for the right time to reveal the truth. But why wait so long? Minho asked.
Ow.
Why not tell everyone immediately? Because the hegemony would have destroyed them, Hannah realized. If the galaxy learned that Earth was still alive, that the evacuation was forced, it would destroy the hegemony's power. They built their whole system on the lie that humans were dangerous refugees. Us. So the people on Earth had to wait, Soo-jin said. They had to let their children and grandchildren believe the lie until someone was brave enough to go home. Jinwoo pulled up one more file. This is the most important one. It's a message from Earth, transmitted just last month. It's encrypted. But I managed to decode it, he read aloud. To our children among the stars, the time of waiting is almost over. Earth lives. We live. We have grown strong in the darkness. Soon, you will come home, and the galaxy will learn the truth. The hegemony's lies will be exposed. Justice will be served. The crew sat in silence, absorbing the meaning of the words. They're waiting for us, Hannah whispered.
After 300
years, they're still waiting for us to come home. But it's dangerous, Daeho warned. If the hegemony finds out we know the truth, they'll kill us. They've kept this secret for 3 centuries. They won't let us destroy it now. And we have. To be smart, Hannah said, standing up. We have to be careful. But we also have to be brave. She looked at each of her crew members. The hegemony stole our home. They scattered our people across the galaxy. They made us ashamed of who we are. They told us we were refugees when we were really exiles. What do we do? Minho asked. We go home, Hannah said firmly. We go to Earth. We find our people. And we tell the galaxy the truth. Even if it means war, Sujin asked. Especially if it means war, Hannah replied. Some things are worth fighting for. Home is one of them. Jinwoo closed the files and looked at the star chart they had found. The coordinates are clear. Earth is waiting. Our people are waiting. Then let's not keep them waiting any longer, Hannah said. Set course for Sol System. We're going home. The journey to Sol System took 2 weeks, and every day felt more dangerous than the last. Captain Lee Hannah watched the star maps carefully as they moved through space controlled by the hegemony. They had to avoid patrol ships, trading stations, and communication beacons that might report their location. There's something ahead, Kim Minho said from his pilot seat, his voice tense. It's not on any of our maps. Hannah looked at the scanner. Display, floating in space, invisible to most sensors, was a field of metal objects. They were small, dark, and scattered across their path like deadly seeds. Mines, whispered Oh Soo-jin from her navigation station. Someone put mines here to keep ships away from Seoul. Can we go around them? Asked Dr. Park Jinwoo. It'd take 3 days, Minho replied. And we might run into hegemony patrols. Engineer Cho Dae-ho studied the minefield carefully. These are old, 300 years old, maybe. But they're still active. If we hit one, we'll be destroyed. Then we go through them, Hannah decided, carefully, very carefully. It took 6 hours to navigate through the minefield. Minho had to pilot the ship by hand, moving slowly between the floating weapons. Everyone held their breath as they passed, close to the dark metal spheres. Finally, they emerged on the other side, safe but shaken. Why would someone put mines here? Sujin asked. Who were they trying to keep out? Or keep in, Jinwoo said quietly. 2 days later, they reached the edge of Sol System. Hannah expected to see empty space, dead planets, and the cold silence of a system that had been abandoned for centuries. Instead, her scanner showed something impossible. Captain Minho said, his voice full of wonder. You need to see this. Main screen showed Sol Systems spread out before them. But this was not a dead system. Energy signatures blazed across the display. Space stations orbited the planets. Ships moved between them. And in the center of it all, shining like a blue jewel, was Earth. It's beautiful, Sujin breathed. It's alive. It's impossible, Daeho whispered. The council said it was dead, poisoned, uninhabitable. The council lied, Hannah said, her voice hard with anger. They lied about everything. Suddenly, alarms began to sound. 3 ships were approaching fast, their weapons powered up. Were human ships, but bigger and more advanced than anything Hannah had ever seen. Unknown vessel, came a voice over the communication system. You are entering restricted space. Identify yourself immediately, or we will fire. Hannah activated the communicator. This is Captain Lee Hannah of the merchant vessel Resilience. We... We're coming home. There was a long silence. Then the voice spoke again, but this time it was different. Warmer, more human. Captain Hannah, this is Commander Bae Sungmin of the Earth Defense Fleet. We've been expecting you. Expecting us? Your signal was detected when you entered the system. We know who you are. We know why you're here. Welcome home, children of Earth. An hour later, Hannah and her crew were aboard the Earth Defense Station, a massive structure that orbited between Earth and its moon. Commander Bae Sungmin was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes. He wore a uniform that none of them had ever seen before. I know you have questions, he said, leading them to an observation deck. Let me show you something first. Through the large windows, they could see Earth turning slowly below them. The planet was exactly as the old stories described. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown continents. Cities sparkled like stars across the land masses. Earth never died, Sungmin said simply. We never left. But the evacuation, double quotes, Jinwoo started, was forced on us. The hegemony said we had to leave or die. Most humans believed them and left. But some of us refused. We said we would rather die than abandon our home. How many stayed? Hannah asked. About 1 million. We went underground, literally. We built cities in caves, under mountains, beneath the ocean floor. We grew our own food, made our own air, and waited. Waited for what? For our children to come home. For the truth to be revealed. For justice. Sujin was staring at the planet below. You've been here for 300 years. Hiding, not just hiding, building, learning, growing stronger. Sungmin smiled. We knew the hegemony would never let us live in peace if they knew we survived, so we became ghosts. Let them think Earth was dead while we prepared for the day we would reclaim our place in the galaxy. And the humans who left, Minho asked. The ones scattered across the stars? We've been watching them, protecting them, guiding them. Every human family that left Earth carried with them a secret code, a way to communicate with us. We've been sending messages for 300 years. The communication codes, Jinwoo realized. The secret messages between families. Exactly. We've been building a network across the galaxy. Every human trader, every human colony, every human ship has been part of our plan. What plan, Anna? Asked. Sungmin's expression grew serious. Plan to reveal the truth. To show the galaxy that Earth lives, that humanity was exiled unjustly, and that the hegemony built their power on lies. But that means war, Daeho said quietly. Yes, Sungmin agreed. It means war, but we're ready. We've been ready for 300 years. He gestured toward the planet below. Earth is not just alive, Captain Hannah. Earth is strong and very, very angry. The message went out across the galaxy at the speed of light, traveling through secret channels that had been hidden for 300 years. Captain Lee Hannah watched from the Earth Defense Station as Commander Bae Sungmin sent the coded signal. That would change everything. Network activation code 7. He spoke into the transmitter. Earth lives. Come home. Within hours, the responses began flooding in. Dr. Park Jinwoo monitored the communication systems, his eyes wide with amazement as hundreds of signals reached them from across the galaxy. This is incredible, he said to Hannah. Look at this. Signals from the outer rim, from the core worlds, from systems I've never even heard of. How many humans are out there? More than the hegemony ever imagined, Sungmin replied. We didn't just scatter randomly when we left Earth. We had a plan. On the main display screen, a map of the galaxy appeared. Red dots began lighting up. Across it, each one representing a human settlement or ship that had responded to the signal. There were thousands of them. My God, whispered Oh Sujin from her position at the navigation console. We're everywhere. That was always the plan. Sungmin explained. When the hegemony forced us to leave, we made sure our people went to strategic locations, trading posts, mining colonies, transport hubs, places where they could watch, listen, and wait. Kim Minho was studying the tactical display. Some of these signals are coming from inside hegemony space, from their core systems. Of course they are. We're better to hide than in plain sight. Sungmin smiled grimly. For 300 years, human traders have been carrying our messages. Human workers have been in their factories. Human pilots have been flying their ships. and all of them had been waiting for this moment. Engineer Chodeho looked up from his workstation. The hegemony must know something's happening. All these signals going out at once. They know, Sungmin confirmed. Their intelligence services detected the activation within 6 hours. They're mobilizing their fleets as we speak. How long do we have? Hannah asked. 2 days, maybe 3. Then they'll be here in force. But the galaxy was already changing. On the communication channels, they could hear the voices of humans who had lived their entire lives believing they were refugees. Now they were learning the truth. This is mining. Station Kepler 7 came one voice. We're not just miners anymore, we're soldiers. Earth Command, what are your orders? Transport Hub Deltanine reporting, said another. Our cargo ships are ready for combat conversion. We've been preparing for this day. It's colony New Sol here. Our population is 12,000. We have weapons, ships, and 300 years of anger. Tell us where to strike. Jinwoo was amazed by what he was hearing. These people, ... they all knew. They all kept the secret. Every human family that left Earth was given a piece of the truth, Sungmin explained. Not the whole truth because that would have been too dangerous. But enough. Enough to know that someday the call would come. And they've been preparing all this time. In secret, yes. That primitive mining colony? They've been building warships in hidden asteroid bases. That peaceful trading post? It's been gathering intelligence on hegemony fleet movements for decades. Sujin was monitoring the tactical displays. Commander, I'm seeing ship movements. Throughout the galaxy, it's not just humans. Some of the other species are responding to this too. The younger races, Sumin nodded. They never trusted the hegemony's story about Earth. They've been waiting for proof that the old powers were lying. And now they have it, Hannah realized. Now they have it. And they're angry. Very angry. The communication channels were buzzing with activity. But it wasn't just military preparation. Families were reuniting across the stars, sharing information that had been hidden for generations. My grandmother always told me stories about Earth, one voice said. She said the oceans were so blue they made you cry. She said the forests were so green they glowed in the sunlight. I thought they were just fairy tales. They weren't fairy tales, another voice replied. They were memories, and now we're going home. Daeho was studying the ship positions on his display. The hegemony response is massive, pulling fleets from every sector. This is their total war response. Of course it is, Sungmin said. We're not just threatening their territory, we're threatening the foundation of their power. If the galaxy learns that the hegemony built their empire on lies, their entire system will collapse. Are we ready for that kind of fight? Minho asked. We've been ready for 300 years, Sungmin replied. Every human who left Earth carried with them not just anger, but purpose. We've been placing our people in key positions throughout the galaxy. We've been building ships, weapons, and alliances. And now it's time to use them, Hannah said. Now it's time to use them, Sungmin agreed. The hegemony thought they buried the legend of Earth. They thought they could erase us from history. But legends don't die. They just wait for the right moment to rise again. The communication channels crackled with new signals. Human voices from across the galaxy, all saying the same thing. We're coming home. We're coming to fight. And we're going to win. The networks are fully awakened, Ginwoo reported. Every human settlement, every human ship, every human family. They're all connected now. They're all part of the same cause. Then let's show the galaxy what happens when you try to destroy humanity, Hannah said. Let's show them that Earth was never truly gone. The hegemony fleet arrived at Sol System 3 days later, and it was the largest military force the galaxy had ever seen. Captain Lee Hannah watched from the bridge of the Earth Defense Station as thousands of enemy ships dropped out of hyperspace, their weapons charging and ready for battle. They brought everything, Commander Bae Seung-min said grimly. Every battleship, every cruiser, every fighter they have, so they're not taking any chances. How many? Asked Dr. Park Jinwoo, his voice shaking slightly. 12,000 ships, reported Oh Sujin from her sensor station. Maybe more. They outnumber us 10-1. But Sungmin was smiling. Numbers don't tell the whole story. Watch. On the main display, The space around Earth began to change. What had looked like empty space suddenly filled with ships. Thousands of them, appearing from hiding places behind asteroids, inside gas clouds, and in the shadows of planets. Stealth technology, Engineer Chodeho breathed. They were there. All along. 300 years of preparation, Sungmin explained. We've been building ships in secret shipyards, training crews in hidden bases, and developing weapons the hegemony has never seen. The communication channels came alive with voices from across the galaxy. This is the Free Traders Coalition. We're dropping our disguises now, preparing for battle. Mining Guild ships reporting. We're not hauling her anymore. We're carrying weapons. Colonial Defense Force here. Our cargo ships are ready to fight. Kim Minho was staring at his tactical display in amazement. They're everywhere. In every system, human ships are revealing themselves. The hegemony is being attacked from all sides. It's not just humans, Sujin reported. I'm seeing signals. From Kepler's species, from the Centauri Alliance, from the Outer Rim Federation, they're all joining the fight. The galaxy is tired of hegemony lies, Sungmen said. Earth's survival is proof that everything they've been told is false. Now, they're fighting back. The battle began with a massive exchange of fire. Hegemony ships launched their attack expecting to face desperate defenders around a dead world. Instead, they found themselves fighting the most advanced human fleet in history. Their shields are stronger than ours, Deho reported as he watched the battle unfold. Their weapons are more powerful.
Ow.
Is that possible? 300 years of innovation, Sungmen replied, while the hegemony grew fat and lazy on there. Lies. We kept learning, kept building, kept improving. We had to. Our survival depended on it. Earth's defense platforms opened fire, revealing weapon systems that made hegemony admirals retreat in shock. The planet itself had become a fortress, bristling with guns and protected by energy shields that had never been seen before. The hegemony's second fleet is breaking formation, Minho reported. They're requesting reinforcements. They're not getting any, Sujin said with satisfaction. The reinforcements are busy fighting human uprisings in their own systems. Ginwu was monitoring the communication channels. I'm hearing reports from across the galaxy. The hegemony member species are turning against each other. Some are joining us, others are fighting to maintain the old order. Civil war, Henna realized. The galaxy is tearing itself apart. No, Suman corrected. The galaxy is healing. Itself, the hegemony, was a cancer, built on lies and oppression. Now it's being cut out. The battle raged for 3 days. Hegemony ships that had expected easy victory found themselves outgunned and outmaneuvered by human forces that had been preparing for this moment for centuries. But the real shock came when human merchant ships throughout the galaxy revealed their true nature. Captain Deho said, his voice full of wonder, "Look at this intelligence report. That trading vessel we saw at Station Kepler 7 last year. It just destroyed a hegemony battleship. Single trader against a battleship, and the trader won." They were never really traders, Hannah said, understanding at last. They were warships in disguise. All of them. Every human ship that left Earth carried 2 purposes, Sungmen explained. To find new homes for our people, and to be ready. For war when the time came. Every trader, every transport, every passenger ship was built to fight. And now they're fighting, Sujin said, watching the tactical displays. The hegemony is losing on every front. The tide of battle turned completely. When the younger species of the galaxy joined the fight, races that had been oppressed by the hegemony for centuries saw their chance for freedom and took it. What had started as a battle for Earth became a war for the entire galaxy. The hegemony high command is requesting terms of surrender, Ginwu reported, hardly believing his own words. Terms? Hannah asked. Complete withdrawal from all occupied systems. Recognition of Earth as a sovereign world. Reparations for 300 years of exile. Sungmin's voice was hard. And full disclosure of all their lies to the galactic community. Will we accept, Minho asked. We'll accept the surrender, Sungmin replied. But there will be justice. The galaxy will learn the truth about what they did to us. In the weeks that followed, the truth spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Earth was alive. Humanity had been exiled unjustly. The hegemony had built their empire on lies and oppression. Species after species turned against their former masters, demanding freedom and truth. "The legend of Earth's death is buried forever," Hannah said, standing on the observation deck and looking down at the blue planet below. "Now everyone knows we never truly left. They'll never forget," Suman added. "The galaxy has learned that some things cannot be destroyed. Love of home, family bonds, the desire for justice. These things are stronger than any lie." The blue marble that had been written off as dead now stood as the capital of a new galactic confederation, one built on truth instead of lies. Earth had returned to take its place among the stars.